Stop. Take a breath. You didn't land here by accident. Out of all the infinite places your attention could be, out of every video screaming for your focus, you've arrived here. In this precise second. That's not a glitch in the system. That's not luck. That's alignment. Something greater, something you might not see yet, brought you here. You may not remember the wish you whispered when no one was listening, but the universe does. You may not recognize the path you're on, but it's been guiding you all along. You've had moments of strange, quiet moments, where time seemed to slow down, where a thought appeared from nowhere, where something inside you felt like it was waiting. Those moments weren't meaningless. They were breadcrumbs, signs, whispers from the unseen, guiding you toward this. Even when it felt like nothing was happening, something was, something always is, because timing, true timing, never misses. This moment you're in right now, it's part of a larger rhythm. You stepped into it by saying yes to something inside you, even if you didn't realize it. There's a reason you press play. There's a reason you're still here. This video isn't just another scroll. This is a mirror, reflecting exactly what you needed, exactly when you needed it. You didn't stumble into this. This moment has been forming in the background of your life for a while now, and finally, it caught up to you. Or maybe, you caught up to it. Reality, life, the current of all things, is trying to break through the noise. Right now, it's trying to speak to you through stillness, through recognition, through resonance. And if something in you feels that, that's because it's yours. This moment belongs to you, not yesterday, not next week. Now, you're not too late. You're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be, right on time. The only question left is, will you let yourself receive what's trying to reach you? Let's talk about your mind. Not the surface level chatter, but the deeper, quieter system running everything beneath the noise. You've probably been told your mind is just where thoughts happen, but it's so much more than that. It's not just a place that receives reality, it's where reality is shaped. Your mind is the tool that builds your world, and whether you're aware of it or not, you're building right now. You're interpreting, filtering, assigning meaning, and quietly shaping your future through the way you think. And there's a truth that shifts everything. Your thoughts are not neutral. They're not just passing scenery. They're signals, blueprints, orders your brain follows, turning the abstract into experience. This isn't just mindset talk, it's neuroscience. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to rewire itself in response to repeated thoughts, emotions, and experiences. So when you think something over and over, even something small like I'm not ready or it's too late, your brain makes that thought easier to access. It lays down tracks. It starts to say, okay, this must be reality. And the more you travel that thought path, the more automatic it becomes. Before long, it's not even a thought anymore. It's a belief, a lens, a filter on your entire life. If you've been thinking, I'm behind, I always mess things up, I'll never be one of those people, those aren't just thoughts, they're instructions your brain is following. And it's been building your world around them. But here's the part most people don't know. That same system, that same mechanism, can work for you, not against you. You can rewrite your internal code. You can choose a new loop and tell your brain to build something different, something better, something true to the version of you that's been waiting to rise. This doesn't mean ignoring what's hard. It means learning to become conscious of what you repeat, because repetition is the gateway to belief. And belief is the software that runs your life. You are not stuck with the wiring you inherited. You are not frozen in the shape your mind took years ago, because your mind isn't stone. It's clay, and clay can be reshaped. Your focus is the sculptor, what you dwell on, what you give airtime to, what you let loop quietly when no one else is listening. Those thoughts become architecture, invisible at first, but eventually they start to shape your days, your moods, your decisions, even your identity. And here's the beautiful part. You don't have to believe a new thought instantly. You just have to choose to rehearse it, even gently, even quietly. I'm learning. I'm open. I'm changing. These aren't delusions. They're seeds, and every time you think them, you water them. You build a new path, a new set of rails, toward a version of yourself that you may not fully see yet, but who is already waiting for you to catch up. So next time the old thought appears, "This never works," or "Why even try?" pause and ask, is that thought helping build the life I want? Or is it a leftover program I'm finally ready to retire? You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not broken code. You are a powerful system with a built-in capacity to transform. You hold the paintbrush, and your mind is the canvas. So what will you paint? It's time to stop living by default. It's time to start living by design. Let's talk about time, not the ticking clock on your wall, not the calendar dates we cross off, but the idea, the story of time. The concept we all carry around, often without ever questioning it. You see, most people don't realize that the biggest thing holding them back isn't lack of talent, or clarity, or resources. It's the illusion that there will be a better time than now. We wait. We tell ourselves we'll start when things settle down, when we have more experience, when we feel more confident, when the timing is perfect. But what if I told you that perfect timing is a myth, a socially acceptable form of procrastination, a way to delay, dressed up as being responsible? Here's what most never see. Time is not a gatekeeper. It's a mirror. It reflects back to you how willing you are to move, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's messy. Because time doesn't stop for you. It doesn't pause until you feel ready. It just keeps flowing, with or without your participation. And while you're sitting, second-guessing, waiting for clarity, time is doing what it's always done, moving forward. Quietly, relentlessly, unapologetically. The more you wait, the further you drift from the life you want to build. It's not that you missed your chance. It's that you keep telling yourself it hasn't arrived yet. We have this idea that time is this linear, external force. But really, time is internal. It's your relationship to action, to urgency, to now. When you say it's not the right time, what you're often saying is, I'm afraid to begin. I don't trust myself yet. I'm still waiting for certainty. But here's the thing about certainty. It doesn't arrive before you move. It arrives because you moved. Clarity is a reward for action. Confidence is a result of engagement, not a prerequisite. So when you catch yourself hesitating, waiting for the stars to align, for a quieter season, for the sign you've been hoping for, realize this: the sign you're waiting for might be your own discomfort, that frustration, that tension, that sense of restlessness. It's not something to avoid. It's something to listen to. It's the part of you that's done waiting. The part that's tired of watching time slip by while you keep telling yourself, soon, maybe next week, maybe next year. And listen, it's not that patience is bad. It's that waiting without intention becomes your default. And living in default mode means life keeps happening to you, not through you. There's a version of you on the other side of action that you haven't even met yet. Someone who doesn't ask permission from the clock. Someone who moves when it matters, not when it's easy. So what are you really waiting for? The conditions. They may never be ideal. The fear. It may never fully go away. But you don't need fear to disappear. You just need to decide it doesn't get to lead. Because every time you delay, every time you choose comfort over progress, you teach your brain to play small, to hesitate, to doubt. But every time you act, even if it's clumsy, imperfect, uncertain, you send a message back: I'm not waiting anymore. That message rewires everything. It changes how you see yourself and how the world responds to you. You are not running out of time. You are running out of reasons to wait. The truth, you don't need more time. You need more movement, more intention, more willingness to be seen trying. Because time isn't the thing that gives you permission. You do. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not stuck. You're simply being invited to stop outsourcing your power to a future that doesn't even exist yet. And that invitation is open right now. So take the step, say the words, begin the thing, not later, not eventually, now, because the moment you stop waiting is the moment your real life begins. Let's get real about something that holds so many people back: perfection. That quiet little voice that says, not yet. It's not quite right. Fix it first. Make it flawless. At first glance, perfectionism sounds like a strength, like high standards, or discipline, or attention to detail. But most of the time, it's a trap, a beautifully wrapped excuse for staying still. Perfection isn't a standard. It's a stall. It keeps you on the edge of action, always refining, always adjusting, never actually moving. You tell yourself you're just being careful, getting it right, making sure it's ready. But really, you're avoiding the discomfort of doing it imperfectly. You're avoiding the vulnerability of starting before you feel prepared. Because once you start, once you try, you become visible, exposed, and that's scary. But here's the paradox. Nothing great was ever created from a place of perfection. Everything that matters, every book, every business, every transformation, began in a draft, messy, awkward, in progress. If you wait until it's perfect to begin, you'll be waiting forever. Perfection is not the goal, progress is, because progress is what leads to mastery, to learning, to real, tangible results. Think about it. You don't build strength by studying muscles in a book. You build it by moving weight, even if it's awkward at first. Even if your form isn't flawless, you grow by doing. So why do we treat our dreams differently? Why do we think we have to nail it on the first try when everything else in life requires repetition? Truth is, the pursuit of perfection is often a fear of failure wearing a clever disguise. Because if it's never finished, you can't be judged. If you never launch, you never risk falling short, but you also never fly. Perfection tells you to wait, but action teaches you what's real. And the longer you delay, the more you reinforce a belief. I'm not ready. I'm not enough. I have to earn my start. But you don't need to earn your starting point. You already have it. The first draft won't be your best, but it will be your most important. Because without it, there's nothing to improve. You can't refine what doesn't exist. You can't elevate what you haven't built. You can't reach the finish line if you never take the first step. Starting is the only way forward. So let go of the fantasy that everything will line up one day. That your mindset will be flawless. Your energy will be perfect. Your schedule wide open. Life doesn't work like that. Waiting for ideal conditions is like standing in a locked room, waiting for the wind to blow open a door that doesn't exist. You are the one who opens it. You are the one who decides. And the moment you begin, even imperfectly, is the moment momentum starts working in your favor. Every step you take sends a signal to your brain. I am a person who moves, I create, I grow, not because it's easy, but because I'm done waiting. So if you've been stuck in the loop of I'll start when it's better, I'll try when I'm ready, I'll launch when it's perfect, let this be your interruption. Because that's not the voice of reason, that's the echo of fear. And you are not here to echo fear, you are here to build, not perfectly, but powerfully. So take the step, post the thing, say the words, hit send, begin, and when the perfection trap shows up again tomorrow, because it will, look it in the eye and say, I'm not here for perfect, I'm here to move. There's a voice inside your head, you know the one I mean. It whispers quietly, but its message is loud and familiar. You're not ready, you're not good enough, you'll mess this up. We all have that voice. It shows up right when you're about to make a move, start the project, share the idea, speak up, apply, try. It swoops in like an overprotective gatekeeper and says, careful, you're going to fail. Better not. But here's the truth most people never stop to consider. That voice isn't your true voice. It's not your intuition, not your intelligence, not your higher self. It's fear, dressed up as logic, wearing the mask of self-awareness, pretending to protect you, but really just keeping you small, comfortable, contained. That inner critic isn't here to help you grow. It's here to help you hide. And for a while, it probably worked. It kept you from embarrassment, from taking risks, from standing out and being judged, but at what cost? How many moments have you pulled back just as you were about to leap? How many times have you hesitated right at the edge of a breakthrough? How many ideas have you buried before they saw the light of day? Not because they weren't good enough, but because you let that voice convince you that you weren't. The inner critic doesn't need facts. It feeds on your silence. It doesn't require truth, only repetition. It survives because you believe it without questioning it. And the more you listen, the more power it takes. But let's question it right now. When you hear that voice say, "You're not capable," ask, based on what? When it says, "You're going to mess this up," ask, compared to who? When it says, "You're not ready," ask, then why do I feel pulled toward it at all? Because here's what matters most. You wouldn't feel that calling if you weren't meant to answer it. You wouldn't feel the tension of potential if you weren't meant to grow through it. The critic is loud, but your calling is louder. It just speaks in a different tone, not harsh, not shaming, but steady, quiet, grounded. It's the one inside you that says, "I want more than this. I think I could do something powerful if I just began. This matters to me." That voice, that's the real you, the part of you that hasn't given up, despite how many times you've doubted. The part of you that still dares to imagine something greater, even after all the setbacks, even after all the false starts. So here's the shift. You don't silence the inner critic by waiting for it to go away. You silence it by acting anyway. By standing up while it whispers, by creating while it complains, by moving forward while it doubts. It's not about killing the critic. It's about leading anyway. And over time, with every bold step you take, that critic gets quieter, not because it disappears, but because it stops leading. You start leading. You become the dominant voice in your own life. You take back the mic, and make no mistake, you don't become confident first. You become brave first, and confidence is what shows up next. Because every time you act in defiance of that fear, you create evidence. Evidence that you can, that you are, that you will. And that evidence matters more than any opinion, even your own. So the next time you hear that voice inside saying, "You can't do this," respond with something simple but powerful. "That's not me. That's fear. And I don't take orders from fear anymore, because you were not built to be perfect. You were built to be honest, raw, growing, evolving. And your growth won't come from hiding. It will come from doing it scared, doing it imperfectly, doing it while that inner critic still mutters from the back row. Let it speak, but don't let it steer, because the life you want isn't waiting for your critic to go silent. It's waiting for you to speak louder, to act louder, to live louder. So speak, move, build, lead, not because the fear is gone, but because you're ready to stop letting it speak for you. You've felt it before, that spark, the sudden flash of energy, the idea, the urge, the pull, the "I should do this" moment. It might hit you while lying in bed, in the middle of a meeting, right before you're about to speak. That small inner nudge saying, "Do it now, say it, try." And then you hesitate, you pause, you start to think a little too much. And in that pause, something sneaks in, doubt. What if I'm wrong? What if this fails? Maybe later. Sound familiar? We've all done it. We've all felt that pause turn into a full stop, into silence, into nothing. But there's a simple tool, ridiculously simple, that can change that pattern in real time. It's called the 5-second rule, developed by Mel Robbins. Here's how it works. The moment you feel the urge to act on something that matters, count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Stand up, speak, write, click, step forward. Don't wait, don't analyze, don't rehearse, just go. Because the longer you wait, the more your brain tries to protect you, and not in a helpful way. It starts spinning stories that sound like truth, but are really just fear. You start to question yourself, overthink, pull back, and suddenly, that spark becomes smoke. But when you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you interrupt the pattern. You shift from autopilot hesitation to deliberate action. Why does it work? Because it gives your brain no time to slip into the default mode of self-preservation. It gives you a window, a narrow one, to beat your own resistance. That little countdown creates a moment of courage. Just enough space to choose momentum over fear, to do instead of delay. Let's get real. You don't need 30 minutes of prep to go for a walk. You don't need to feel ready to speak your truth. You don't need to map the entire path to take the first step. You just need to trust the moment, and then count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. It could be as small as sending an email, as big as launching a business, as simple as standing up from the couch. When your brain says, just 5 more minutes, every time you use the rule, you train your brain to associate action with identity. You're becoming someone who does, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's uncertain. You're teaching yourself, I take action, I move, I don't wait for perfect. I lead, and no, you won't always get it right, but that's not the point. The point is, you're no longer letting hesitation decide who you are. So next time you feel the spark, even if it's tiny, even if it's inconvenient, catch it, grab it, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move. Because every time you act on that impulse, you're not just getting things done, you're becoming the kind of person who does. We live in a world obsessed with more skills, more tools, more knowledge, more validation. And so we start believing that we are not enough, that success lives out there, somewhere beyond us, that we have to go searching for it, hunting for it, proving ourselves worthy of it. But the truth, everything you need, is already inside you, right now, as you are. You don't need to collect 17 more certifications. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to wait until the stars align, until you feel completely ready, until someone else gives you permission. You already have the spark, the intuition, the voice, the imagination, the strength. You've just been taught to ignore it, taught to listen to everyone else before yourself, to trust the outside world more than your inner compass, to keep second-guessing what your gut has been telling you all along. But think about it. Who's been with you through everything? Who's been there at your lowest, your messiest, your most uncertain moments? You got through heartbreak, through burnout, through self-doubt that tried to eat you alive. You got back up, even when you didn't want to. That wasn't luck. That was you, showing up with what you had. And what you had was enough. So ask yourself, if you could trust yourself then, why not now? What if the confidence you're looking for isn't something you earn, but something you uncover? Something that's always been there, just buried under noise, fear, and years of external expectations. Because you are not lacking, you are overflowing, with potential, with brilliance, with possibility. You've been told to wait, to prepare more, to be more. But I'm here to remind you, you are already more than enough to begin. Yes, you'll still grow. Yes, you'll still stretch. But growth doesn't mean you're not ready. Growth means you're willing to show up imperfectly, willing to lead even when you're nervous, willing to start even while afraid. You don't need all the answers. You just need to remember where to look inside. Inside is where your courage lives. Inside is where your voice gets louder. Inside is where your why becomes clearer. Inside is where your story starts. And when doubt shows up, because it will, when your brain says, you don't know what you're doing, remind it, I don't have to know everything. I just have to know that I'm willing to grow. That's where real power comes from. Not pretending to be invincible, but choosing to be authentic. Not chasing perfection, but owning your enoughness. Because your future doesn't need you to be flawless. It just needs you to be true. So stop searching for magic out there. Start connecting with the strength in here. You've had it since the beginning. You've carried it through every phase. It's not a question of getting ready. It's a question of letting go of the belief that you're not already equipped. You are, and your dreams, they chose you, not by accident, but because something inside you is already built to hold them. You don't need to earn your way into the life you want. You need to believe your way into it. So the next time you feel that pull to start the project, speak your truth, change direction, take the risk. Don't look outside. Don't wait for permission. Just say to yourself, with conviction, everything I need is already within me. I've always had it, and now I'm finally ready to use it. Picture this, you're standing at a fork in the road. Two paths stretch out before you. On the left, the path of fear. It's familiar, safe, predictable, but it's also dim, narrow, and it loops back on itself over and over. When you walk the fear path, life happens to you. You avoid risk. You silence your voice. You delay dreams. You shrink, not because you want to, but because you're afraid to stretch. And the worst part, you look back after years and wonder, what if I had tried? Then there's the other path, the path of purpose. It's unfamiliar, uncomfortable, but it's alive, expansive, vibrant. When you walk the purpose path, life begins to happen through you. You lead with intention. You take bold action. You feel fear, but you don't let it drive. Because purpose doesn't erase fear. It just makes it irrelevant. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I succeed? And finally feel alive. Fear says, don't embarrass yourself. Purpose says, speak anyway. Someone needs your voice. Fear says, you're not ready. Purpose says, you'll grow into it. Fear is the thief of dreams. Purpose is the fuel of them. And here's the thing, you always get to choose, every day, every moment. Every decision, big or small, is a chance to ask, am I choosing fear or purpose? And if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're tired of playing small, then it's time to stop walking the loop. Step onto the path that scares you, but also excites you. The path that challenges you, but also awakens you. Because that's where your life begins to expand. That's where fulfillment lives. That's where you live, not behind fear, but out in the open, aligned with your purpose. So right now, ask yourself, which path am I on? And which one do I truly want to walk? Before we dive into this last piece, if this spoke to you today, tap that like, hit subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's one thing you're choosing to do with purpose, starting now? Alright, take a breath. Close your eyes if you want. Now imagine this. It's 1 year from today. 365 days have passed, and you're waking up in a life that feels aligned. Not perfect, but authentic, a life that feels like yours. You feel proud, clear, energized. Why? Because 1 year ago, today, you made a decision. You stopped waiting. You stopped doubting. You chose intention over autopilot. You took the first step, then the second, then the 10th. It didn't happen overnight, but because you kept showing up, your future started to shift. You gained momentum. You built trust with yourself. And now, you're living what used to be just an idea, a vision, and maybe someday. Now zoom back into this moment. Right here, right now. Because this is the moment that changes everything, not tomorrow. Not once you feel ready. Now, you already have everything you need. The strength, the vision, the desire, the power to shape your future is already within you. But the key is action. So if you've been waiting for a perfect moment, this is it. Not because it's perfect, but because you're deciding to make it powerful. So go, start the thing. Send the message, take the step, speak the truth. Whatever it is, do it now. Because 1 year from today, you'll look back at this exact moment and say, that's when it all began. Your extraordinary future starts right now.